Do you know who I am? No. No. Oh.
GloRilla's drug arrest has been making headlines for a minute, but her latest court appearance might have just thrown gasoline on the fire. Word is, she pulled up to court looking unbothered, and now the judge's patience is running thin. Could that little attitude push her straight into a jail cell? Let's break it down. July 19th, 2025, while folks back home in Georgia were winding down for the night, Glo was out in Indianapolis doing her thing at the WNBA All-Star Game, halftime show alongside Letter Cook, Tippa, and TGI. She was on one of the biggest stages in women's sports, totally unaware that her world was about to get flipped upside down. Around 1:30 a.m., 3 masked suspects stormed her home in the St. Marlow subdivision of Forsyth County, Georgia. This wasn't some random smash and grab, it was targeted. Her legal team says the intruders likely knew she wasn't home. Family members were inside, and things got tense fast. Shots were fired in self-defense, sending the robbers running. No one was hurt, but the trauma was real. Instead of grabbing random valuables, these thieves went straight for high-priced jewelry. That means they knew what to look for and where to find it. Somebody had to be feeding them inside info about Glo's life, her stash, and her schedule.
Got a search warrant, and authorities discovered what they called a significant amount of marijuana in a bedroom closet.
Now here's where it takes a sharp turn. Deputies arrived on the scene for the burglary, but instead of keeping their focus on the dangerous intruders, they claimed they caught a whiff of loud. Suddenly the mission shifted. They called in the Lanier Regional Drug Task Force, got a search warrant, and began combing the place. Their treasure hunt turned up about 2 pounds of marijuana, THC wax, and an unspecified Schedule I controlled substance, all found in the master bedroom closet. But here's the kicker. Glo was hundreds of miles away, performing live with thousands of witnesses. She had the perfect alibi, yet she's the only one catching charges. So why didn't the people in the house, folks who knew she was a celebrity and the homeowner, clear that stuff out before the cops showed up? It raises serious questions about loyalty and awareness. The search led to arrest warrants for GloRilla, turning the victim of a violent home invasion into the target of a drug case.
If you don't have anything to hide, you don't hide anything. So my view was she shouldn't have had the weed in her house. And obviously there had to be enough where the smell was overwhelming, and law enforcement on a call to protect her found, oops, we got to do it.
Her legal team came in swinging. First, they pointed out the obvious. Glo was the victim here, not a suspect. Second, her family members did exactly what they were supposed to do, call the police after a violent crime. Third, and this one stings, while law enforcement moved quickly to get a warrant for Glo, they hadn't issued a single arrest warrant for the burglars. They accused the sheriff's office of wasting tax dollars and chasing headlines by going after a celebrity instead of real criminals. And honestly, they had a point. Innocent people were held at gunpoint in Glo's home, but the system seemed more concerned about a bag of weed than the masked men still on the loose. Sheriff Ron Freeman publicly claimed they were still committed to finding the suspects, but in the same breath justified prosecuting Glo. That contradiction was all anyone needed to see the double standard.
Circumstantial evidence. If I went to bed last night, there was no snow on the ground. I woke up this morning, there was snow, hardly likely in Atlanta today, and we know it snowed somehow. They smell marijuana, and as a result of that, they executed a search warrant, and what did they find? Well over an ounce, which is a felony.
By July 27th, days after the break-in, the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office admitted they still hadn't caught the burglars, even though they claimed to have physical and forensic evidence. But they had managed to arrest GloRilla within days. Social media exploded. Twitter lit up with posts like "GloRilla's home gets robbed. She's the one arrested, and no suspects in sight." Major outlets, The Washington Post, TMZ, Fox 5 Atlanta, CNN, People, The Guardian, all ran the same angle. The victim was treated like the criminal. But while mainstream media stuck to the police overreach storyline, the streets were whispering another question. How did she end up being the only one charged when she wasn't even in the state? The answer forces you to look closely at who's in your circle.
Well, do you know who I am? No. Oh.
This case pulled back the curtain on a bigger issue in the entertainment industry: loyalty, or the lack of it. In theory, the people benefiting from a celebrity's success should be the first to protect them when trouble hits. But reality says otherwise. When legal problems knock on the door, a lot of folks start thinking about themselves. Those staying in Glo's house had a window of time before police arrived. They knew any drugs in the master bedroom would be tied to her. Yet somehow, it all stayed right where the cops could find it. Whether it was negligence, setup, or just bad judgment, it left Glo holding the bag and law enforcement's priorities. Classic, they jumped at the chance to arrest a young, successful black woman in the South, exactly the kind of tough on crime Move that gets headlines while ignoring violent criminals still at large.
Oh, absolutely. If someone who is charged with a crime volunteers, gives him, or in this case, herself up, the prosecutors, the DA's office, and the DA's office in Forsyth is very good. They will likely reduce this, depending on the amount, could easily be reduced to a misdemeanor. But again, it depends on the amount and how it was packaged.
Even in the middle of this mess, GloRilla didn't fold. She still hit the stage at the WNBA All-Star Game, and days later, was back in Memphis for her first annual Glow Bash with artists like Muni, Long, and Rob49. She single quotes as not just another up-and-comer, she's a major player in hip-hop, with a debut album, glorious cosigns from Rihanna, and even an invite to the White House in 2024. That's what's on the line here, not just her freedom, but a career she built from nothing. If convicted, she could face 1 to 10 years for felony marijuana possession in Georgia, plus more time for the Schedule 1 charge, and all of it because substances were found in her house after she was the victim of a home invasion. Weeks later, the burglars are still free. The system's priorities are clear. Quick celebrity arrest over actual public safety. Glow's fighting back with merch, public statements, and a top-tier legal team. But she should have never been in this fight to begin with. This case is a warning. In the streets or the spotlight, the wrong people around you can ruin everything.